Chairman.
The Honourable Christopher Finlinson.
I think I will take a brief call, if only because Annette King called out that I was a has-been, which is rich coming from someone who's been around here since Peter Fraser was Prime Minister. But I think the previous speaker raised a very important question. Oh, she's very snippy today. I think that it's time that she considered her future. It's time to move on, Annette. There are greener pastures out there, but you can't simply come down to the chamber and snipe. Well, of course the honourable member walloped me. Of course the honourable member walloped me twice because I was standing in Rongotai, and if she stood in Taranaki King Country, she'd get walloped as well. I mean, there are certain fundamental features of electoral life, and one is that if you're a national candidate and you stand at Rongotai, your chances of winning are not all that flash. But anyway, when it comes to the all-important party vote, what was the margin? Labour won the party vote in Rongotai by about 300 votes. One of their most important seats, and they won the party vote by 300 votes. So the electorate vote's all very flash, but the reality of the matter is the old chook got walloped very badly in the party vote. But anyway, let us get on with the fun. Let us talk about treaty settlements. Because the Ngāia Mahuta raised a very important question, and it is one that was discussed between Parakura Horomia and me on a number of occasions, and that is that the Crown makes a number of commitments to treaty settlements when it signs deeds of settlements. All very well to go along and have lachrymose speeches and sugary speeches when the deeds of settlement are signed, but as Ms Mahuta said, the proof of the pudding is in the implementation, and that is why the Office of, it's my responsibility as Attorney General, but it flows on from the treaty negotiations work, which is why we have established an office within the Ministry of Justice, and I want to thank my wonderful colleague, the Minister of Justice, for her support in this regard, an office, if you like, of post-treaty settlements to ensure that these ongoing obligations are honoured, not just today, not just tomorrow, but in 25 years' time. Because Ms Mahuta's right, there are a number of accords that have been signed up with the Ministry of Social Development, for example, and the Ministry of Culture and Heritage, and it's very important that these are honoured, because one of the problems over the years has been that the Crown does not necessarily have a good institutional memory. People tend to move on, but iwi don't forget. And so she makes a very good point there, and I'm determined that this infrastructure is going to be put in place so that the litany, if you like, of agreements that have been drawn up over the years and the undertakings that have been given by the Crown will indeed be honoured into the future. I want to thank honourable members who have spoken for the nice words that I've said about the Office of Treaty Settlements. It is an outstanding group of people. I call them the Jesuits of the civil service, because they are utterly dedicated and go above and beyond the call of duty in this work. For many, it is not a job, it is a vocation, and I too salute them. I also want to place on record my support and my respect for people like Paul Swain, because Paul was an opponent, he was never an enemy, and since he's left Parliament he's done wonderful work for me, as indeed has Rick Barker, doing treaty negotiation work, and I guess if there's anything that can be said about that, quite apart from the fact that they are excellent blokes who do a great job, is that there is life after Parliament. And so I end, as I begin, by a reference to the MP for Rongotai. Time to move on, dear lady. Time to see those greener pastures. You've been here, the member's been here a long time, and there comes a time where there comes a time when sitting and sniping in question time loses its fun, and she too could be out there negotiating. If she got off her flea-bitten old nag and was just a little bit more pleasant to people, she could achieve quite a lot. And all she needs to do is talk to Rick Barker and Paul Swain and think about her future.
The question is that vote treaty negotiations stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that vote social development stand part of the schedule.
Chairman.
Dr. Rajim Prasad.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Chairman. Just a few